Everybody, this is just Martin91, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys quickly about the Grudge, the new Grudge movie anyway, directed by Nicolas Pesse or Pess, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. In 2016, he directed a horror film called The Eyes of My Mother, and in 2018, he directed the Piercings movie. Now, most of these, I guess, were limited to an extent. I haven't really came across them yet. I will want to, though, because they have really good ratings, and frankly, I like the style of the movie that this was. Like in a way, like it's hard to describe because honestly, I like certain aspects of the movie, but in the grand scheme of things, it just didn't pay off, especially for what it was supposed to stand for. I guess I don't know what people were expecting walking into this because it was a really risky move to make a new movie, especially in this angle. The 2004 movie, the remake of the Juon the Grudge from 2002, was directed by the same guy who made that original film, Takashi Shimizu, and that in itself was already considered uh, an alright movie for what it was. But I mean, it didn't capture what, of course, the original had. It was a lot of risks that were taken. But the main thing that was a controversy at the time was the whole it was taking place in Japan and why can't it take place in America? And the whole thing was like, yeah, well, this is why. The whole concept of this film was that it's marketed as a reboot, but technically it's a sequel. Not going to spoil too much, but basically the events of the 2004 film do get taken into effect. But when I say that, I just mean like it's to the point where La Llorona was kind of linked to The Conjuring, and therefore it's a Conjuring chapter. That's basically the idea here. You're gonna have to check it out to see exactly what I mean. But it's a very it's I want to say it's its own story, its own original, whatever. But it is a rehash. It is very much a rehash. And what made the 2004 remake even watchable in its own way was that it was more grounded to what it was meant for. The lore made sense. The Japanese lore stood out to the perspective that it mattered. How it was presented actually mattered. And this one, it just feels like it's just an angle to sell a story that is so cut up and the storyline is so flustered all over the place. Personally, like it is a puzzle that you're piecing together while you go, but I just felt like certain things were not harmonized properly and they didn't mesh properly. The acting was good for what it was. There were some great names in this movie. John Cho, Lin Shay, and Jackie Weaver from Silver Linings Playbook. And there's just so many things that could have went better, in my opinion. Oh my god, that ending just really just screwed me up. Yeah, honestly, it is. If you like the original, if you want to watch it, go watch it. I feel like if you don't know the source material, you're not going to understand what is going on. And that cheap, minuscule way that they try to explain it is not going to be sufficient enough to get it grounded enough. And if you are familiar with the source material, then that is why it's not going to work. It's basically a double-edged sword of its own etching. It's not meant to sell, I guess, for the American audience. So that whole controversy that happened a couple of years ago was, I don't know. Maybe it could have been done better. I'm not even blaming the director at this point because honestly, it looks nice. It feels alright. There's just something about it. And I don't know if it's just because it's released in January, therefore it's doomed to fail. I don't think that's set in stone. It's just not, it just didn't play out properly. Now, I haven't seen the original version, like the very original version. I've seen the remake recently, and I quite liked it. It was really well done. And I understand all the homages that they tried to do. And frankly, like for the new one, most of the best parts are in the trailer. And it's sold as a horror kind of scare tactic. It's all like, there was always more to it. The lore had more to it. They make it into this cheap, I don't know, Americanized Japanese lore, I guess. I don't know how it's going to play out with the audiences. I feel like it's going to bomb. It was a fun time, I'll say that. But that's not enough to make a good movie, and I think most of us should know that by now. Anyways, have a good one, guys. Enjoy it, however you feel about it. I mean, we'll see the reviews. Well, we do see the reviews, but we'll see, the responses from the viewers quite soon, because opening weekend's coming up, and we'll see what happens. Anyways, have a good one, guys, and I'll talk to you guys later.